Someone said Lana's new poetry album kind of snapped, and then someone did a voiceover of Lana.
Oh, that's not nice. Hey guys, it's me, Shell360, and I told you that when my SSAK3 album came in, I was going to do a video. It was supposed to come in tomorrow, but it came in today, which is really exciting because that's ahead of schedule. I am concerned though. I have a feeling this might be a disaster because look at the box. Look at the box. That's not great. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. So hopefully there's not like supreme amounts of damage in here because this was not cheap. This was a $50 album. So yeah, I love you, Rain. Just remember that. If anything ever happens, remember I loved you. So let's get this box open.
What about me?
Oh, everybody knows I love you. Let me get this open here. Yesterday, Carolyn did a live stream. That was very exciting. I always like it when she does live streams. And she was talking about the possibility of her doing a collab video with some of her K-pop friends. And she happened to mention that she feels like it could happen because she had seen me and Mason doing our Boys Love blog. So hopefully her and Katie figure out a way to do their collaboration together. But I was thinking about what would be something that I would love to see Carolyn do for a collaboration with another collector. And I think I've come up with the perfect idea for her. I'm sure she'll never see this, but I thought a perfect idea for her would be for her to do like a versus battle. If you've never heard of the versus battle, it was something that was come up by Timbaland and Swiss Beats, where you have two opposing artists and they kind of battle it out using the greatest hits of their catalog. And I was thinking that could actually be pretty cool on a K-pop spectrum. So each contestant could pick one artist and they could bring out their collection for that artist, and it could be like, okay, so I'm going to start by saying, this is a good mini album because it had the hit song whatever. And then the next person says, well, I'm going to bring out my next song, which is this album that had the hit song whatever. And I was thinking, instead of doing it like just song for song, because we're talking collecting here, it could be like, okay, your vote for that artist, best photograph in a photo book, best photo book in general, best photo card for that artist, best packaging for that artist, best CD for that artist, something like that, but like a versus head to head. And at the end, the audience could decide one, but it wouldn't be any kind of drama, it wouldn't be any kind of animosity, it would just be like a fun kind of comparison contrast type thing. I don't know, that's what I had in mind. So I would like to see it. I would love to see it. I still would like Carolyn to do like the K-pop year breakdown, but whatever. I already paid her my $5, but it hasn't happened, so it probably won't. I am so worried because the corner of this looks like it might be, it's damaged. Damaged, so damaged. You can blame the one before. So how am I gonna fix it? I'm not gonna be able to fix it, actually. I can't repair that. But yeah, the corner of my SSAK3 album is damaged on the corner where the box was fucking smashed to shit. Thank you, U.S. Postal Service. You guys are cool. But that's okay, because I had no intention to sell this or, give it away to somebody. Like, this is for my home collection, and that amount of damage is not terrible. Not terrible, but still, I would have liked it to be pristine. So here it is. I love it. Okay, so I had said initially that I thought it looked kind of like a VHS. Now that I'm seeing it, it is very clearly a boombox. It is very clearly a boombox. This is where the cassette tape is. Here's your FM, AM radio dial right here. Here's your speakers, like off and on. This is so cool. And then like the top are the buttons for the cassette player. Look at that. And then there's your auxiliary port for you to put in headphones if you wanted to put in headphones. That is so awesome. Oh, but this is a modern one because you've got, look at this. It's got the tuning here. It's got the AM FM switch right there. You've got your volume dial right here for the volume. Headphones. That is cool. I'm not sure why it's got 2 headphone jacks, but that's still fucking cool as shit. And then it's got more over here. This is where you would plug in your 2-prong plug to plug it into the wall. Come on. Then this is the little hitch right here where you take this down to put your big batteries. You put your big C or D batteries here. Oh man, I remember having a boombox when I was younger and like going through batteries so fast. And like my mom refusing to buy me more batteries because she's like, I just bought you $6 worth of batteries last week. I'm like, I'm sorry, I need more batteries. And then finally, when the Dollar Tree started selling the batteries that would fit the boombox, my mom was like, okay, I will take you to Dollar Tree once a week to get you batteries. And then when they start to go down, put them in the freezer. And so, yeah, this is memories. Woo, this is memories. This is beautiful. This is already, without even seeing the inside, already we are winning here. You've got the track list on the back right here and the Korean Comca sticker. Hopefully you guys can see the track list. Hopefully it's available. It's got a magnetic closure. So we're going to open this up. This is the first thing we see. So this part is not decorated, but that's okay. You did so much on the outside. I don't expect you to be super decorated. Oh, that is the outside of the SSAK3 folder. Yeah! Take that out. And then we have our SSAK3 stickers. You could eke out like 2 extra minutes by putting them in the freezer, but it wasn't a big thing. Oh, these aren't even stickers. These are standees. Oh my gosh, these are standees. It's like thick cardboard. It's standees. These are the bases of the standees. Nice. Nice. Okay, now there's still another layer right here. You can't see it, but there's another little layer right here. Pull this back. Ah, and here's our CD and our cassette. Ah! I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Woo! Okay, so what should we do? Should we open the cassette? Should we open the CD? Should we open the photo book? Let's do the CD and cassette. Let's see what's happening there. Let's do the CD first. Can I tell you guys that I didn't get my first CD until I was in high school, and I used my allowance money to buy myself a copy of Snoop Doggy Dogg's Doggy Style. That was my first CD. I remember it like it was yesterday because I remember I had to buy it with my own money and I couldn't tell my mom because it had a lot of curse words, but I was so excited to have it and I really loved the photo book for it, and to this day it is probably still one of my favorite rap albums of all time. I always sing the most inappropriate song from that album. My daughter hates it when I sing it. It's a terrible song, but it is one of the few rap songs I actually know all the lyrics to the verse for. So I'm just gonna do a little selection for you guys. Warm up the throat. When I met you last night, baby, before you opened up your gap, I had a respect for you, lady, but now I take it all back, 'cause you gave me all your pussy, and then you even licked my balls. Leave your number on the cabinet, and I promise, baby, I'll give you a call. You wonder why people get so up in arms about a song like WAP when I was literally 14 years old asking some imaginary woman to lick my imaginary balls. I don't know, misogyny. So here's the CD. I took the plastic off, and then the CD has also got a track list on it as well, so you don't have to rely on the packaging to give you the track listing. This has a slip case on it, so slip that off right there. And it's pretty much the same graphics on the CD, so there you go. Oh, I love this. I love this. One of the things I really, really love about this CD plate, besides the fact that, like, it's so motherfucking cool, is they used a filter on these photographs to make them look 90s. Like, it's a very harsh contrast filter, and it's super saturated. So, like, everybody's got the tan skin that was really popular in the 2000s and the 90s. You don't really see a lot of tan skin anymore in K-pop, if you know what I'm talking about. And also, like, it makes everything look a lot sharper. So, like, look at the folds on Rain's pants. It looks a lot more shadowed because the contrast is up so high. Now I'm just gonna slip out my CD jacket. Took me a lot of years to learn how to do that without messing up the CD jacket. I'm now a pro. Looking at this, I can see, oh, I love this. I love this. This is so nice. This is so nice. I don't recall anybody wearing their bandana completely over their eyes, Rain, but you know what? I'm going to say it's a style choice rather than like just forgetting, because I know that you know what it should look like. And then the next picture is them out on the beach, and it looks like Rain is wearing his fanny pack across his chest. Fun fact, the fanny pack has become the new men's purse. Like, men all over Asia and even in America, they wear fanny packs, but they wear them across their chest. In the 90s and 2000s, nobody was wearing fanny packs across their chest. Everybody wore their fanny packs around their waist, and you either wore it in front of your junk if you were a guy, or if you were a girl, sometimes you'd wear it on your hip, or if you were a cool guy and your fanny pack is where you kept your Walkman while you were running, you would wear your fanny pack over your butt, and it would bounce up and down while you had your headphones on and you were jamming and exercising. So this is the only thing that's kind of anachronistic, is that we didn't wear our fanny packs across our chest, we wore them across our waist. But I can forget that. That's not a big deal. Even the vehicle that they've got in here is a vintage vehicle. Like, they did not skimp when it came to trying to do things the way that they were done. Okay. This black and white photo with this type of orientation reminds me of the orientation of Rain's How to Avoid the Sun photo book. So nostalgia, even though I was not into K-pop at the time that was like a new album. The old foot in the camera pose. Wow. I love those earrings. Yolen's, or not Yolen, Yori's huge hoop earrings. Those earrings are so massive. I could never wear hoop earrings because I have a short neck, and so if my earrings were too long, it always annoyed me because it would push up my ear. These are the problems that ugly people have. And then another picture of them looking cool with the blue filter, because that's the type of filter cool people have. Another one with the pink filter, them in the back of the ride. And then credits. That's cool. Wow. I used to love, okay, so you don't see as much of it nowadays as you do. Well, you see it more in K-pop than you see it in Western music. But part of the reason I don't really buy Western CDs anymore is because I used to live for these CD jackets, because all the lyrics to all of the songs would be printed in the CD jackets, and I would sit there playing my CD and reading the lyrics and trying to sing along so that I would remember all the lyrics, and then I could like be a master at singing the songs back when I hung out with my friends. It's such an innocent time, and it's just so unbelievable that like that was the thing. But I think about that now, like, just what a fucking music nerd I was, because I really was that kid that I would sit there with the jacket and look at all the lyrics, and I was never one of those ones who had to worry about like not mispronouncing, but like misunderstanding, because I always read the lyrics, even when I was in high school. And I'm like an older kid at this point. I used to go to the library and check out the Christmas song book. And it was a book that had the lyrics to all the most popular Christmas songs. And that's how I learned how to sing the first verse of "O Come All Ye Faithful" in Latin, because I was reading the Christmas song book. Such a fucking music nerd. And I don't play an instrument. I don't have a good singing voice. I have a passable singing voice, but I don't have a good singing voice. But yeah, Adeste fideles, leti triumphante venite, venite in Bethlehem. Music nerd. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. All right, time to open the cassette. I'm so excited. I hope that the cassette I know this is a lot to hope for, but I really hope the cassette has the lyrics in it, just for it to be like completely authentic. Also, because this shit was $50, I deserve. But yeah, I really hope that when I open this, that the cassette has more to it than the Dynamite cassette did. Because if this is sad like the Dynamite cassette, I'm still not over that. Like, I'm still not over how cheap they did that. But I mean, I shouldn't have expected more, because if I expected more, I should have paid more, obviously. So this looks just like a cassette from back in the day. You can see the track list on there, and then like the cassette is printed, and then the spine, and then it's printed at the front. Oh, I want to play it so bad. It's printed on both sides. That's cool. And then you've got, yay! I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I don't know why. I'm so happy. It's got almost all the photographs from the CD jacket, plus all the lyrics are printed on here. Ah, this is so wonderful. This is so wonderful. You guys, I'm not one to normally cry about unboxing, but this is like, this makes me really, really happy. This makes me really, really happy. Like, I don't know if you could tell by looking at me today, but I was not a popular kid. I had a very limited group of friends. I didn't go to a bunch of social functions. The one club I tried to join in school, the art club, I got kicked out of because I threatened to fist fight the art club teacher. I was a loner a lot. I spent a lot of time by myself. I spent a lot of time in my room. I spent a lot of time watching VH1 and MTV and BET, and I spent a ton of time listening to music. And there were times in my life growing up that I didn't have anybody that I trusted, that I could tell like my emotions to. Not necessarily like what's going on, because wasn't much going on, because I was a loner and I was fat and I was unattractive and boys didn't like me, and I was a loser. And having music was everything. And that's why I would take my cassettes and I'd go through the cassette packaging and I'd pour over the lyrics and I'd play songs over and over again. And I got so hyped when CDs came out, because then you could just like go from track to track, no problem. And I loved music. And it's been a long time since I remembered how exciting opening a CD made me feel, or opening a cassette made me feel. And it's just a really nice memory. Now, I was told that there's another layer under here. I'm kind of scared to lift all this out, but I'm going to do it anyway because I don't want to miss anything. Take that. Let's see what's underneath here. Ooh, what is this? This is glued to this. Okay. Is this supposed to be glued down? Is this supposed to be glued? Okay. You guys can't tell what I'm talking about here. There's this. This was underneath everything. However, mine is glued, and I don't want to unglue it because I don't want to mess it up or tear anything. These look to be pens, like pins you pin onto clothes. Okay, I'm gonna try to ease this up. Oh. It's glue. Uh-oh. I think, yeah, it's not coming up nice. It's not coming up nice, guys. I'm trying to ease it up, but it's just, I can feel. Why did they do this? We were doing so well. Why'd you do this, guys? All right, so I ripped mine. I ripped it. I was very gentle. I was very gentle. I was trying to feel it out, but I ripped it. I don't think there's any way to not rip it. Honestly, I don't think there's any way to not rip it. It's a piece of double-sided tape that they used. And they used the double-sided tape on a piece of cardboard that had a paper sheet. So of course it's going to rip the paper. Of course it's going to rip the paper. What do they expect? But these are pens, it looks like. Pins on safety pins. So see, they're little safety pins with clips on them. So I guess you can wear this to your SSAK3 concert, maybe? Take one of these out. So it's got a clip. If you want to like clip it onto your shirt, you could clip it onto your shirt like that. Or if you wanted it to lay flat, you could use the safety pin part, and you could pin it to your shirt like this. And then you'd have your tag right there. That's cool. This is not a piece of merchandise I've ever seen in anything before, so this is actually quite unique. I've seen pens, but I've never seen pens like this. I'm wondering if this is reminiscent of 90s fan culture in Korea. That's what I'm getting the feeling that they're trying to bring across here. It's printed really harshly. I don't know what's going on with that, but see how it looks scratched up? That's not just the reflection. It actually is pretty scratched looking, and I don't know why it's scratched looking like that. That's bizarre. But I have to watch Reply 97 again and see if I can recognize like why it looks like that. But anyway, those are the pens that are underneath. Hindsight being 2020, I kind of wish I'd never ripped them up, but you know what? You live, you learn. I'm not buying another one of these, that's for sure, because this is really expensive, guys. It was $50, but considering all that you've already seen, this was well worth the $50. Like this huge box, you get a cassette, a CD, and we have like a whole bonus folder of shit in here. So I think that considering everything, this was not a bad price. Trying to put this back together now that I've taken the bottom layer off. Do I know how to do this? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I know how to do this. It's just that that's not going down the way it's supposed to. Okay. There. Taking this apart is now making it difficult to put back together, friends. Why are you not? There you go. There you go. Flat. Is it flat now? Is it flat now? No? Yes? Maybe? Wait a second. Am I not going to be able to put this thing back together now that I've ripped it apart? That is going to make me so sad if I cannot put this back together. Because I'm never going to take those pins out again. Those are going to stay down there for the rest of eternity. But I need to get my frame back in here, and I'm having a dickens of a time. Maybe I'm doing this in the wrong order. Maybe what I need to do is put this inside of here and then fit it down. Let's try that. Let's try that. Maybe that's the more efficient method. Yes, that worked out much, much better. I cannot believe I'm having so many problems already. It's still very lopsided, but you know what? Fuck it. Tis what it is. All right. CD back in. Close that up. Okay. Back to business. Kind of. That's not right. But I'm just going to say it's right. It's not right, but I'm just going to say it's right. And then we're going to put you back there. Now, onto our folder full of stuff here. So, let's go with this side first. Woo! Okay. We've got this, which I think these are the stickers, but there's a lot of stickers here. This is a huge thing of stickers, like a big sleeve of stickers. So, wow, how many sheets of stickers do they have here? So these are stills from the video shoot that they put on here, which I think is great. Then these are photos of the cassette, some name, or these are supposed to look like license plates, and then some more photos from the album art shoot. Okay. Oh, and then we get individual ones for each person? Do we get individual big ones? Is that what we're gonna do? No, just for Ihuri. That's fine. She deserves. So, look at that. Isn't that adorable? It's so cute. Then we have more. Got like a tag, cassettes, more art. I wonder if it's true that Ihuri and Rain used to date back in the day. I wouldn't be mad at it. I think it'd be actually cool. Like old television and old remote. And then this one. I'm kind of sad we didn't get like a full-length Rain sticker. But that's okay. I'm not mad at it. I kind of wish we did. But we got a standee, so, you know, we do what we can. All right, so that is the stickers. And there's photo cards. Woo! I can't wait to open those too. But let's put the stickers back because I don't want anything to get more messed up than it already is. I've already completely screwed up how to put this thing back together, so let's be cautious with everything else. All right, so there's that. Now we're going to open our photo cards here. And they gave us a pack of photo cards, which I can appreciate because no one's buying more than one of these SSAK3 albums to collect photo cards. The demographic that's buying this aren't big photo card collectors, if you know what I'm talking about. Or at least most of them aren't. So, first photo card here is a group photo card. Here is the front, and then here is the back. Ooh, hey. Next, I'm sorry, this next one is Rain. Here is the front. Woo! Yes, and then here is the back. That's quite lovely. He is so fine. He is aging so well. Kudos to you. Then the next one is SSAK3. This is, and then there's the back. And then the last one is Ihuri, which I'm kind of mad at this photo card because it's coming across on camera a little bit, but it's like, it's taken with the sun behind her, so it's kind of dark. I would have appreciated it more if there was more light on her face, but you know, you can still make it out. It is coming across way lighter on camera than it is in person. In person, this thing is mad dark. But yeah, that is hers. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put it back in its photo card sleeve. I don't know if I'm going to put this in my photo card binder or not. I'm kind of torn because I like keeping it all together, but then I'd like to have it in my photo card binder because then I can flip through that and look at it. I don't know. I'll have to make up my mind later. And then the last thing we have is the photo book. And the photo book is thick McGee. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's pretty thick for a project group. Come on. That's pretty thick. And they made it look like an old teen magazine. So it's like, SSAK3. What are their dating types? What's your style? 5 things you don't know about the members. I'm just guessing that that's what it says. I cannot read Korean in that way. I'm not able to translate. But that's what I'm imagining that we would be seeing here if we were reading it. Because that's what teen magazines always are. It's like, fastest way to impress the bias of your dreams. Do you know your bias's dog's name? Take a small quiz. Stuff like that. Okay, so this has a seam. The photo book has a seam right here so you can bend the cover, which you kind of need to do because it's kind of a stiff photo book. I don't want to bend the cover. I don't know how to avoid bending the cover in order to get it because it's very, very tight. Very, very tight. So I think I'm just gonna kind of flip through here and show you cool pictures when I see them. Oh, that's a cool picture. It's a cool set of pictures. So there's this picture of Rain in the desert with no shirt on, and then this cool picture of Ihuri. God damn, Rain. Rain's abdominal set is super worked out. Like, oh my goodness, do you live in the gym? He's got like an 8-pack going on. That's a lot. That's a lot. Like, look at him in the back there. Do you see all them ridges? That's not no damn shirt. That's his chest. That's his chest making all them ridges. You can't see it clearly. It's a little bit blurry, but wow. Wow, he's worked out. And then, like a group picture of everybody. See that? Those are muscles. That's not fat. Those aren't wrinkles. That's muscles. That's muscles. Okay. You're wearing a Chrome Hearts ring, Rain. That's anachronistic. Do better. Okay, and then they give you kind of some more of the pages that were in the CD. Oh! So they did handwritten thanks to. So that's the handwritten thanks to. See, it's got a fake signature. And he mentions the clouds. Aww. We love you, Rain. I love him so much. Love him so much. So each of them did that. Each of them had like a handwritten thanks. And I didn't show you Ihuri's, but I could go back and show you hers. So this is her handwritten thanks to as well. It's quite short. Quite short. That's probably why I didn't show it to you because I didn't notice it. It was so short. Okay, so then it's got them in the white outfits, which I cannot believe we used to wear our pants that baggy. Like, what were we doing? What were we doing with our pants that freaking loose? I used to wear really loose clothes back in the day because I was upset with my body because I didn't think I looked attractive. And my favorite pants that I wore when I was in high school were Jinko jeans. That was the brand. The brand was Jinko, J-N-C-O, Jinko. And I used to love my Jinko jeans. I loved them so much. And they had legs that had to have been this big. Like the legs must have been that big around. They looked like skirts. And they were always super long too. So like you could tell if somebody's had their Jinkos for a long time because the bottom would be all frayed up from like rubbing on the ground. But that was also a mark that you had good broken in Jinkos because they had all that wear and tear on the bottom. We were such weirdos. I don't know what we were thinking. I know this is gonna sound weird, but like in this picture right here, like they kind of look Latinx a little bit. Like it very much reminds me of like lowrider culture when I lived in El Paso. I graduated high school in El Paso, and lowrider culture was a really big deal. And I knew a lot of girls when I was in high school who wore like black lip liner and then like clear gel in the middle, and they wore like sports bras as tops with baggy pants, and they'd have like the top of their underwear showing. And yeah, that was a whole look. And a lot of them had boyfriends in prison, and their boyfriends would send them these like handkerchiefs, but they would have like art drawn on them, and they'd be like, you know, they would draw. There was this one flower motif that they would do, and everyone did this same flower where you'd like start out with like a little heart and you just keep drawing petals around it. But like if you were one of the cool girls who had a boyfriend in jail or a boyfriend in prison, he would send you bandanas that were decorated with roses, and he'd put love poems on there. It was a big deal. Looking back on it now, in order for a high schooler to have a boyfriend in the pen, he had to have been at least 18 probably. So highly problematic. But these are the memories I work with. Keep going. Okay, so these are some different images than what were in the CD jacket. This is them with their airbrushed shirts. Airbrushed t-shirts were such a big deal in the 90s. I remember my dad taking me to the Texas State Fair, and I had an airbrushed t-shirt that was blue, and it had Samantha written on it and like a neon heart behind it, and it was written in really fancy cursive, and it cost my dad $25, which was a lot of money back then. I will say though, their airbrush shirts are obviously very homemade. They're not like the kind that we used to wear. Our airbrush shirts were beautiful. We had very professional looking airbrushed shirts, but back when I was a kid, so just saying. They could have done a little bit better with their airbrush shirts. Oh my gosh! I love these photos! Okay, so this photo is Rain with like a leather vest. Like he looks like LL Cool J on the top, firefighter athlete at the bottom, and then Ihari kind of looks like a cool chick from like Clueless, like in the Clueless movie, like, and those are the rich Asians, like that totally looks like her, and you just looks weird, but like look at this picture: LL Cool J at the top, firefighter athlete at the bottom, rich Asian girl from the Clueless movie. Like I stand. That is so nice. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. Can we all wear this? Can we go back to this particular fashion, except for the fact that I don't wear crop shirts ever. But still, I adore it. Ooh, Rain. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Don't play with me, Rain. You have no right. You have no right to look that good. Oh my gosh. And then somebody who's aware that he just can't compete with the other two. So he's just like, I will do a random pose. Look at them arms! He's so fine! Ah! Rain, I love you. Oh! I love it. I love it. Okay, so this next shoot is white suits in the rain. You do not get more 90s than white suits singing in the rain. Like, if you've ever watched Boys to Men, it's white suits singing in the rain. That is such a 90s trope. That is hilarious. That is so funny. That is so funny. I live. White outfit singing in the rain. That is so funny to me. This is just really like, this was obviously made for me. Like, the reason I had to pay so much for it is because this was literally made for me. Ooh, are you a mechanic, Rain? What's under your hood? Ooh. Yes. I will take it. Ooh, I really like her look there. Actually, I really like her hair here. She's got a very interesting hair color thing going on. Her hair is brown at the top, but then she's got like a blonde layer like right at the bottom, and so you like get a sneak peek of it with the way her hair is curled. I really dig it. I think that's very pretty. Isn't that neat? I love the way she looks there. Love the way she looks there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And then they have the beach setting. Oh, overalls! Baseball jerseys! This is just for me. I'm sorry. I've invited you guys to watch me just relive my teen years, and I'm so sorry because I know that this is not for you. This is absolutely for me. But the joy, just all of it. Polaroids, like fucking Polaroids. Polaroids now are a thing that people associate with like limited edition photo cards for photo albums, but back when I was a teenager, Polaroids were such a big deal because this was back before cell phones and like taking pictures on cell phones. If you wanted to take pictures of a party or anything else, you would have to have like one of those little disposable cameras and then take it to the Walgreens and get the photos processed, or you would have to get a camera, like a real camera, and load film into it to take pictures, and then still take them to the Walgreens, the CVS, the pharmacy to get the photographs processed. Or if you were one of the rich kids, you could afford to have a Polaroid camera and buy Polaroid cartridges. And Polaroid cartridges were so freaking expensive. This is the 90s we're talking about, and a Polaroid cartridge would be $10, and for $10 you would get 10 photographs. So it was $1 a picture. So that was a huge deal back then, because people didn't have they didn't have the cloud to upload photos, and they didn't have the ability to store pictures in their phone. Very few people even had mobile phones back when I was a teenager. Beepers were the big thing, and nobody was taking pictures with beepers. Nobody was taking pictures with beepers. All you could do with beepers is like people could like send you their phone number so you can call them back. So like this would have been a dream when I was a 90s kid, because Polaroids were so flippin' expensive. This is just lovely. This is just really lovely to see. This is really, really nice. This is probably one of the more sentimental items in my collection now, because there's just so many good memories I associate with something like this, and there's so many like little 90s Easter eggs involved in this. I wish I could talk a little bit more about everything, but I'll probably pour over it as time goes by. But I really have to say, I have so much love for 90s style and 90s fashion, and you know, just living a life before the internet. I know this is gonna sound super corny and old, so I will take this L. A lot of times when people of my generation talk about how different life was when they were kids, and you know, about how we didn't have the internet so we could do A, B, C, and D, a lot of it feels like, okay, boomer. And I totally get where you guys are coming from, because you're so much younger than me. But let me tell you something. It really was a difference. One of the things I can say that I lament the most that you guys don't have, that I had, is I had the ability to make mistakes when I was younger. There were some times where I was in a place where I shouldn't have been, and I was doing things that I shouldn't have done, and the only reason I never got in any trouble is because no one ever found out, because there was no photographic proof, and the only people who knew anything about it were the people that were there. And if somebody heard about it because somebody told them, you could lie your way out of it. You could be like, oh no, that's not me, I was home that night. Whereas nowadays, if you go to a party and we're in the midst of COVID, and you know you shouldn't be at that fucking party with no mask on, but you're like, I just want to live, I'm so tired of being cooped up in the house. There's 1,000 people who saw you there because somebody posted a picture of you at the party on Instagram, Twitter, the like, and then people screen cap it, so even if it gets deleted, like, this you? And people don't get forgiven for mistakes. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, so that's who you are. Canceled. And this is not me going on a diatribe about how cancel culture is wrong, because I think when cancel culture is done well, it is supremely effective. There are certain people that really shouldn't be allowed to make any more mistakes because they made such a grave mistake. Like, R. Kelly being canceled is completely valid and is not something I ever plan to retract, because that man is a fucking child molester as far as I'm concerned. You know, so I feel like canceling certain people, completely valid, completely correct. But what happens is, a lot of times we live in a culture where so much information is fed to us so quickly that we're expected to make snap judgments. And we're canceling people based on a snap judgment that we're forced to make based on a limited amount of information presented to us at that time. And then as things go on and we hear more and more information, all of a sudden we're like, oh shit, maybe they weren't canceled, or maybe this was something they could have learned from. But by then, you know, we made it to where people are afraid to move, afraid to put themselves out there again. Or people take that opposite reaction, like, oh, so you're gonna hate me? Let me give you bitches something to hate me about, then how about them apples? And they overreact and they decide to like become the villain. And I hate that, because there's a lot of really sensitive people out there, and there are some people that when they get canceled, it's they feel like their lives are over and they take very drastic measures. And I would hate for anybody to lose their life because they got canceled. Unless they did something that warrants that response. And, not saying, but there's some people that I wouldn't cry if something happened to them and they just didn't return to the scene. So like canceling.
That's mean.
All I'm saying is this: there's some people I have tears for, and some people I don't have tears for. If Tory Lanez is actually canceled, he deserves to be canceled. He shot a woman in her feet. That is a cancelable offense. Absolutely. But then there's people who say the N word and they apologize profusely and they decide to.
What was that?
Actually, funny you should ask. So it's been a while since I've listened to Ask Me About K-pop, and it just happened to come up on one of the tabs on my phone. So I'm like, oh, well, what new shows have they done recently? And they did a show about your problematic faves. So you can look that up. It was a show they did in April of this year, and they were talking about how a lot of K-pop people have said the N-word, and it was not nega, it was nigga. And Zico, his name comes up so frequently when it comes to people who have said problematic things. It comes up a lot. But he's never really apologized like that. So, I mean, fuck that guy. But then they talked about Ratman, on the other hand, who he imitated a black young on a television show. And he apologized for that. In a V-Live later on, he's like, I've done some things that were hurtful and I'm learning as I go and I don't ever want to repeat this behavior again. And when they decided to get on, when they decided to go to the Billboard Awards to perform, they had a song that they were performing that had the phrase nigga in it. And they changed the wording so that it couldn't be perceived as them saying the N-word, because they realized that American audiences are sensitive to that and it sounds different to different ears. Also, Ratman had made fun of members of BTS before for being dark-skinned, and he's since changed his tune about that. It's not too late for people to learn. And I mean, to go from imitating a black guy and maybe talking about people's skin tones in a colorist way to then being a part of a group and a record label who's donated $1 million to Black Lives Matter, that's growth. That's progress. That's putting your money where your mouth is. That's showing that you have really learned a lesson. And a big part of them learning that lesson is the time that they spend in America doing American Hustle. So I feel like, again, there's room for growth in a lot of ways. But if people keep making the same mistakes over and over again, or if somebody does something so heinous that they've done irreparable damage to somebody else, then I think that canceling is absolutely appropriate. I was watching on Twitter, there was a tweet that flew past my timeline, and it was Rachel Woods talking about the person who was her abuser, her domestic abuser. And it was pretty obvious from what she was saying, because she mentioned her age, that she's talking about Marilyn Manson. And I have never been a Marilyn Manson fan. I'm never going to act like I was. But I remember hearing The Beautiful People and not hating it. And I remember hearing his cover of Blue Monday and not hating it. But I was just never a Marilyn Manson stan. I like Nine Inch Nails better. And he dated Rose McGowan, he dated Dita Von Teese, and he dated Rachel Evan Woods. And I remember when he started dating Rachel Evan Woods thinking, he's like a real grown-ass man and she's a teenager. But she seemed happy and he seemed creepy, and it just was what it was. But when she describes all of the behavior that he demonstrated while they were together, isolating her from friends and family, making her feel like she was worthless, threatening to kill himself if she left him, all these things that people who do mental abuse will do to somebody. Hearing what she said and me feeling like she's telling the truth just by the nature of the power dynamics of their relationship at the time, Marilyn Manson's canceled to me. He's canceled to me. First of all, what the fuck does a 32, 33-year-old man have in common with a 19-year-old?
Nothing.
Like, me and Stephanie live in the house together, and there are so many times when I'll mention a song and say like, "What is that?" Or Stephanie will be singing a song and I'll say, "What is that?" Or like she'll use like some kind of she'll giggle over something that reminds her of a meme, and I'm like, "I've never heard that meme before." You know, there's
Because you're old. I'm kidding. You're not old.
I know. What I'm saying is, there's so much of life experience that is different based on your age and what you've gone through and what the culture was like as you were coming up, that I just don't see where people with these huge 10, 15, 20-year age gaps could make it work, because there's just so much that both sides are kind of missing out on. But I say all that to say, I have no problem canceling him. And I'm canceling him because he's done irreparable harm to somebody. To this day, Rachel Evan Wood says she's still afraid of him. She's still afraid to say his name. She's still afraid of repercussions from the relationship she had, and it's been years since she was in that relationship. She still feels like a part of her will never be recovered because of the way he broke her down. This is somebody who's never going to recover. He did irreparable damage to somebody. He is canceled for me. So, I don't know. I feel bad.
So are all the child groomers.
I feel bad for your generation, because while I appreciate that we're in a place in society where we're quicker to call out misogyny, racism, colorism, economic and classist bias, that we're able to identify these things much further. We're able to lift up people who are struggling with mental illness. We're able to try to eliminate ableism and lift up those who would like to be seen as equals. While I'm glad we're in that environment, I think sometimes we are so very conscious of not being seen as less than woke that we don't thoroughly vet situations enough before we make decisions about them. And I wish that time could slow down for you guys. I wish that you had more breathing room so that you could vet situations before you make these decisions. And I'm not saying that from a standpoint of view, because one thing that's absolutely clear, if you're talking about somebody's fave, they will vet a situation down to the very last minute before they'll believe something bad about their fave. But I'm talking about like when you see violence on television that happens at protests, and people will base their opinion in a split second by their political ideology instead of looking at the situation for what it is, and realizing that this whole thing is just a fucking mess and that real changes need to be made everywhere. And I think what brought it to mind the most is just this whole thing with Kenosha, Wisconsin.
What's Kenosha?
Kenosha's a city in Wisconsin. A man named Jacob Blake was in. He had an altercation with the police. The details are still a little bit blurry because there's some information that hasn't been released. There's conflicting viewpoints about what happened. But what is absolutely certain is that he was shot 7 times in the back.
I thought he killed himself.
No, this is somebody else. So Jacob Blake was shot 7 times in the back, point blank, by a police officer. At this point, he's still struggling for his life, but they believe that he may be permanently unable to walk. There were protests that happened in Wisconsin about over policing in black communities, and how there was nothing that this man did that warranted the police to shoot him 7 times in his back in front of his children. So a protest scene was made. There have been some fires and a little bit of rioting, looting, and whatnot. A teenager by the name of Asshole came to Wisconsin. He drove over 2 state lines to come to Wisconsin to be a part of the protest. He was carrying an AR-15, which is an assault rifle. That's what AR stands for, assault rifle. He was walking around the vicinity of the protesting with this assault rifle, and at some point something happened, and he shot 2 protesters in the head point blank with this assault rifle, killed them, and wounded a couple of other people. The police did not arrest him after he shot these people, even though he told the police that he did it. He was allowed to leave the scene and go back to where he came from, and only later was he arrested. The language regarding that incident has been very kind of minimized by the police involved, while it has been very maximized by those protesters who were present at the scene. And while one side of the political scene is saying this kid was being harassed and he shot these people in self-defense, there's a whole other side of the political spectrum who are saying, who travels across two state lines to be involved in a protest that has nothing to do with them, and then you are a 17-year-old bringing an assault rifle with you, when legally a 17-year-old can't have an assault rifle. You can't. It is illegal for you to have this assault rifle at 17.
Yeah, I don't think it was self-defense.
I don't think it was either. I think this was somebody looking for a fight, and they found a fight, and because they are a coward, they pulled out a gun and they killed people.
And that's what I hate about this whole thing. Sorry for interrupting you.
Well, nobody can hear you because you're way over there.
I don't even think this is a matter of politics, in my opinion.
Well, what's political is people saying he was acting in self-defense or he came there looking to commit murder. These are the political aspects of this. And people are asked to make snap decisions about things. There is another incident in, I believe, Chicago, where there was video footage of a man who the police, I believe, were chasing because he was a murder suspect. And the footage is very graphic. If you want to watch it on Twitter, you can. I did. I kind of wish I didn't. But this young man, I guess, had been cornered by the police, and he pulled out a gun and stuck it in his mouth and shot himself. And,
I'm sorry you had to see that.
you know, people don't warn you on the timeline, which y'all have got to start doing that. You've got to start trigger warning for this type of stuff.
Are you okay?
I'm good. It's just like, it's very disturbing to watch somebody in their own life. But anyway, personal traumas aside, this young man killed himself by doing what he did. And there were multiple angles of the incident, but there was one angle in particular where after the young man was deceased and laying on the ground, the camera person was saying, I can't believe the police killed him. I can't believe the police killed him. And rioting broke out. Now, I'm not saying that the riots are wrong, because there's a good chunk of the storyline that's missing. What led up to this young man ending up in a corner, backed up against a corner, and deciding that his only way out was to kill himself? We don't know. That part of the story is unknown to us. But what is very clear from the video footage of him ending his own life is that the people around him heard gunshots, and you can see them running. So we don't know if the police were shooting at him because they were trying to apprehend him. We don't know if it was a false apprehension. We don't know if it was a good arrest. We don't have any details. All we have is two very charged up sides of the political spectrum, and everyone making these snap decisions about this and then acting on those snap decisions. And I'm not going to say where I fall on this, because I legitimately would like more information for both of these things, because something feels not right about all of it to me. Every bit of it feels just wrong in my heart and in my soul. I don't understand why you would need to shoot somebody 7 times point blank in the back. I don't understand why somebody would pull out a gun and kill themselves. I don't understand why we can't have peaceful interactions with law enforcement. Really and truly, why there can't be that. But I say all that to say, one thing that is abundantly clear is that when police interacted with 2 brown men, it ended in one's death and one's permanent paralyzation and struggling for their life. When a young man who killed protesters at a protest event interacted with police, he was allowed to escape the scene and then was recovered with absolutely no issue. No exchange of gunfire, no physical assault, just, I'm turning myself in, guys. And we see a lot of that throughout the history of America.
Didn't they take one of those shooters out to get a burger?
Yes, the young man who shot up the church. I'm not going to say his name. Let's just call him Coward. So Coward went into a church. It was a AME church, which stands for African Methodist Episcopal. He went into an AME church on a Wednesday, which for those of you who aren't familiar with Black church culture, Black people go to church like 3 days a week if they're like heavily invested in the church. And one of the church days is Wednesday night. And they have Bible study on Wednesday nights. They have Sunday services. They'll have after Sunday services. And sometimes you'll have a men or a women's meeting on a Thursday night or a Tuesday night. And so he went to the church on Wednesday night when they were having Bible study. He sat in the Bible study with the parishioners of this church. After Bible study, he went to the fellowship hall with the members of the church, had, coffee and snacks with the members of the church, and then proceeded to shoot at the members of the church and killed several of them. And most of the people that he killed at that church were old people, because it's usually old people who go to Wednesday night Bible study. Young people have better things to do. But he sat with these people and prayed with these people in the house of the Lord, insinuated himself in with them as if he wanted to share the love of Jesus, the love of God with them, and that he was there with holy intentions, and instead committed the unholiest act you can on another human being. And he was allowed to not only leave that church unharmed by the police, but was then driven to a Burger King so he can get a little something to eat, because it had been a long day.
That's terrible.
It's awful. It's awful. But this happens a lot. School shooters, unless they choose to end their own life, most of the time when the police recover a school shooter, especially if they're not brown, they tend to be taken without incident, without being harmed. We spend a lot of time, the media, explaining the mental health backgrounds of school shooters when they're not brown, again. And yeah, there's two justice systems in America. But anyway, I've totally digressed. This was supposed to be a conversation about my beautiful sax album, and it has devolved into something else. But I just want to put that out there for you guys, because I think some of you are not from America, so you don't know like how tough it is here. And I think sometimes when I joke about you sending me your Canadian uncle to have a second wife, or me asking you to like help me escape America, you think I'm joking. Absolutely not. I can't wait to get the fuck up out of here. If I had the financial means to do so, I absolutely would, because this place is scary as shit. And
you could move with me to Norway when I leave.
I might have to do it. I might have to bite the bullet, because I'm scared all the time that, a very minor incident could lead to a very major consequence. As it is, in my car, I have a little thing that hangs from you're welcome. I have a little thing that hangs from the rearview mirror in my car that can hold my cell phone. And the last time I got pulled over by the police for a speeding ticket, I actually set up my cell phone and recorded the entire incident, because I was scared. I was scared it would go south and I'd be accused of saying or doing something untoward, and then I would end up in jail, and then my family would wonder why it is I didn't make it back home. So
I would riot if something happened to you.
So yeah, I shouldn't have to feel that way. As an American tax-paying citizen, I shouldn't have to feel that way. But it is what it is. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you're not aware, Euphoria Prism in the comment section is selling his Vicks collection and his Beast collection, and probably will be selling some more items fairly soon. So if you haven't subscribed to David's channel, I absolutely recommend you do so, because there's a lot more things that are going to come up for sale. They're really good things. He takes very good care of his K-pop albums, so I highly recommend buying from him if you're interested. Also, I heard that Wanhaid is going to be doing a sale for her collection. So yeah, there's a lot of really good things coming down the pipe for those of you who like second gen groups. And if I hear of any more sales, I'll definitely let you guys know. But yeah, be checking those out, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, David. Leave a comment in the comment section so people can find your channel for your sale. Thank you. Bye.